Greetings. It is time for me to put together another video here. This one is going to be about Google Spreadsheets and some of the work you can do with data in Google Spreadsheets, looking at three things. First of all, I'm going to show you how to use an equation to do some calculations in the spreadsheet, or actually to get the spreadsheet to do calculations for you. Secondly, I'll show a little bit about doing some sorting of information in a spreadsheet. And finally, I'll show you how to take the data that is in a spreadsheet and put it into a visual form using charts. So let's get started with using equations. The data that I have here in this spreadsheet is for population data for different countries. I have the population, the area in square miles of each of those countries. What I want to do is I want to find out what the population density is for each of those countries. So I'm going to add a heading at the top of column D in cell D1, and I'll call that population density. And now I need to get the numbers for population density down in underneath here. And there's three ways I can do this. One is really bad, one is a bit better, and the last way I'll show you is the best way of all. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I'm going to say the one that was bad, another one that was bad, and then the third one will always be just right. So the first way of doing this calculation, which would be really bad, very inefficient, and a big waste of my time, would be to go through with a calculator and do the calculation by hand. So I'd punch in 29,835,392 divided by 250,000, work that with a calculator, and copy that into the spreadsheet. That would definitely be a big use of my time and a big waste of my time, because I can get the spreadsheet to do the calculation for me. Computers are really good at boring things like division. So the next thing I could do to make it a little bit better is I can get the spreadsheet to do the math. So I can type in the cell that I've got highlighted there. I'm going to do the calculation for the population density of Afghanistan. So I click in that, and anytime you're getting a calculation, putting a calculation into a spreadsheet, you start with the equal sign, and then I'm going to just type in the numbers there, 29,835,392, and divided by is the slash. I can also multiply with the asterisk, and I can add and subtract using the plus and minus signs, but this one is divide, so I use the slash. And the population is divided by the area in square miles. That's 250,000 square miles. There we go, 29 million and some divided by 250,000. Press enter, and it does the calculation, which is great because I don't have to go and type the numbers in and then type the calculation into the spreadsheet. That is definitely an improvement on going and doing it by hand myself. But if I have the same spreadsheet and I update the population data in a year or two, and it's gone up to 30,500,000, and I press enter, well, then I would have to do that calculation all over again, because the formula or the equation that I put into that cell is for the old population divided by 250,000 square miles. So this is, I'd have to redo this if that was the case. So there's definitely a better way of doing that. I should, yeah, I'll change that back to the original. So what I'll do now is I will start with equals, because that's how we start an equation. And I want it to take the population of Afghanistan. I don't want to type in that number, but what I want the spreadsheet to do is look at this number when it does the calculation. So I'm going to click on that cell, and it puts the cell B2 as part of the equation. And I've got a little highlight around the cell here showing me that it's being used in that equation that I'm working on. I'm going to divide, which again is the slash, and I want to divide it by 250,000, but I don't want to type in 250,000. I want to tell the spreadsheet where to find that information. So I click on the cell that has the area of Afghanistan. There it is. So my equation is to take whatever number is in B2 and divide it by whatever is in C2. Press enter. Okay, so it's the same answer, which is not surprising. But in a year time, when I check the census and it's gone up to 30,500,000, when I enter that in and press enter, take a look what happens to the population density. Enter, here we go. And the calculation automatically gets updated because I'm referring to the number that's in B2, not typing in the number itself. That's the advantage of using that cell reference instead of typing in the number. Let me just go back to the original one there. So that is definitely a better way of doing that, and then I can just repeat that for all of the countries that I have here. So again, I just press equals for the population density of Albania. I go population divided by area, enter. So this is great. All of a sudden I've gone from having to type in a whole bunch of digits to just going like this, equals, click on the population, slash, click on the area, enter, and then it's done. So that's a good way of doing it. But I've got here close to 200 countries in the world. Oh yeah. So this goes all the way up to 198. I've got a lot more to go, and I don't have to go and do all of those because I have better things to do with my time, as I'm sure you do as well. So I'm just going to get rid of this, and I'll show you an even better way of getting all that information down there. I'm going to click on the cell that contains the population density of Afghanistan. If I look in the formula bar, I can see that the formula equals B2 divided by C2 is still there. And when you select a cell in a spreadsheet, you might notice you get this thicker line around it, a blue line here, and down in the bottom right there is this blue box. And when I move my cursor onto that blue box, it changes to a plus sign. When I've got that plus sign cursor, if I click and drag down, what that's going to do is it's going to copy whatever's in that top cell. It's going to copy that down into all of these cells down below. And if you remember, I didn't type in the numbers. I referred to the cells that had the population and the area. I'm going to let go, and you can see they're all different. And if I go up, the population has been calculated for each one of them, because the equation is for the population density, it's equal to the population on that row divided by the area in square miles on that row. And on each row, you can see the numbers change here. On each row, it has the cell reference for the cells B4 and C4, for B5 and C5, for B6 and C6. So it's always working with the numbers that are in that particular row. So for each country, it calculates the population density independently. So that is doing an equation with a spreadsheet. You don't have to do the calculation and enter them in by hand. You don't even have to enter the numbers in and have it do the calculation with the numbers. All you have to do is, when you're building the equation, refer to the cells where the data is contained, and the spreadsheet, when it goes to do the calculation, will look in those cells to find the information that it needs for the calculation. And I think, looking at the time, that this might actually be a good time to cut off the video. So I'll just leave this video just about equations, and I'll do 2 more videos in this series. The next one will be on sorting through data, which should be a very quick video, 5 minutes or less. And then the last one in the series will be about creating charts from the data that you have on your spreadsheet. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this useful, and you can go out and hop onto your Google Drive and start spreadsheeting away.